So, part one to this whole thing's probably important to watch for context and things like that. So, if you haven't watched that, which honestly I don't blame you, I made that 6 months ago and got mega sidetracked with life and viola and all of those things. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it. Okay, you watched it? Okay, good. Now on to the story. We ended up making our way to the entrance of Hell, cause homebrew, to save Shaw, aka the NPC who led the whole Hell Rebellion. We finally made it there, not just by walking, but also the use of a teleportation device that Sam's family just happened to own because royal rich kid, and a lot of walking through the land after that. When we finally arrived at the gates, there was a guy waiting there that didn't seem so happy to see us, but still held a proud demeanor up. This figure was the same one that ran the gates to Hell and managed these demon hunters that were trying to recapture all the escapees, and this figure was known as Antiburn, also known to our party as Antifreeze. After Sam went up to him and tried to negotiate and tried talking for the party as bards do, we learned that they had no intentions to give us back Shaw for any reason. Well, almost any reason. He offered us a challenge. If we won a great challenging fight against him and his forces, we would get Shaw back. But if we lose, then it won't just be Shaw taken back. One of us will die and be trapped in Hell for all eternity to serve as a servant. As intense as this was, he seemed to disregard taking Ignis back in this moment, and there was nothing stopping us from going back home at that point, so we were debating back and forth and talking, but while we were talking, for some reason with no negotiation between party members, Sam volunteered us to get into the fight. We thought the DM would make this fight maybe a tad bit easier because of us being around level 5, and even though that was the case, we did challenge the man responsible for managing Hell's denizens. So no, that was not gonna happen. After being transported to a totally different area, more like an arena, we were all kind of stunned and didn't know where we were for a minute, and we didn't actually end up fighting Antiburn themselves, or more demon hunters, but instead, we do end up seeing a giant sentient construct of what seems to be Sam emerging from the ground, which that's our challenge to take on as a party. We reluctantly jump into the fight these constructs, or what seems like constructs, and after a few hits, the ones that we were able to hit at least, we find out we're doing a lot less damage than we expected. Parse was the first of us to be knocked out, and I say knocked out because then we discovered that once we died, we couldn't be revived or brought back in that fight, but we could spectate in a conscious state. After that, Ignis fell, and Rio was barely hanging on when a second statue was summoned. A giant one of Rio. Rio was knocked down to the ground quickly, but after a bit more fighting and spell slinging from Sam on another flying broom they had for some reason, the party was knocked down. We all peered into a space facing Antiburn, and after a bit of NPC lore dropped and things about why the Hell Rebellion took place, the DM rolled a d4 to see which one of us would be the unlucky one to die, thanks to the way the rolls were assigned. And thanks to those numbers, it landed on a 1, which meant we look over, confused about which one of us will go. All of us, our hearts are racing and nerves are coursing through our bodies, and then suddenly the party sees Sam paralyzed in a shocked state, looking at us. The life drains from his body and he flames apart as he disappears. After witnessing Sam's soul kind of get robbed from whatever material plane we were on, we look at each other and walk away, and went back to the town, which was still covered in eternal winter. We lost, didn't even secure the one thing we were supposed to get, didn't even find out why we're still in eternal winter, and we just sat down and got a drink in the pub. Most of us got ale, which was very expensive for our very broke party, and some got water. And the party just started to reflect and remember about all the dumbass moments involving their friend, which was now gone. As we were drinking, a person walked into the pub in a dark cloak and approached the group. Us still in a hazy state, still trying to take in what we just did, we were rather confused when this guy walked up to us and started rambling about why he knows the town is eternal winter and how he can totally do all this cool ice magic and he can control this, and he was rather rude and harsh. So Rio, in a drunken state, threw a cup at his head, which was deflected, and thus the distrust towards the two had started. This new person was Arctic, who was our newest party member, and was one of the most chaotic we've had so far. Hey, editing at 1 a.m. Tori, you may be confused of why I say that he is one of the most chaotic members of the party. Not fun chaotic, more of just we don't know what's going on chaotic. Well, instead of explaining, I decided to do a text-to-speech song because I was going to sing, but then thanks to being home and noise, wasn't able to get a good recording. So here's a text-to-speech song about why Arctic was a mess. Okay, 1 a.m. editing Tori out.
So now that the campaign is done, I can confidently say that Arctic was not so fun to play with. His player was fine. However, this guy was kinda nuts. And we didn't like him much, and there's some ranting I feel I need to do. Instead of wasting and dedicating hours and hours to animation, why not make something new instead? It's less offensive to make a song about them. Musicians do it all the time. I can't really sing and you expect rapping to be my thing, but why not make a bad song instead? Here's an organized list of all the pissed off party member moments. Party member moments. Here's an organized list of all the pissed off party member moments. Thanks to Arctic, he stole an ancient fire artifact, killed a goddess's pet dragon, and caused an eternal fog that turned people into crystal monsters. Oh god. Led the party everywhere. Even if we didn't agree, he didn't care. Murdered an innocent man by dimension door, dropping 100 feet in midair. An organized list of all the pissed off party member moments. Party member moments. An organized list of all the pissed off party member moments. Thanks to Arctic, treated the Warforged as an object. Even when they talked and objected, they were thrown into a portable hole, and Arctic even broke their one Newton's cradle. He wanted to rob a bank, and saw that we already failed to rob one. So he robbed another bank. You see the issue here? That's an organized list of most the pissed off party member moments. Party member moments. That's an organized list of most the pissed off party member moments.
So yeah, that's the end of the Demon Hunters arc story, whatever you want to call it. And the final part I will put out in this series of stories will be about the bank heists. Because yeah, you heard me right in that little song thing. If you're watching to this point, we had multiple bank heists that all went wrong, and we earned money on one of them. I think that was only Arctic that got the money though. Anyways, it'll make for an interesting thing to talk about, and definitely I think it'll be a good way to wrap it up. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video of sorts. I hope that the purposefully bad text-to-speech song wasn't too cringy or whatever. Hope this video was enjoyable to watch. Yeah, like and subscribe if you want to. And hopefully I'll be able to actually upload more soon, because I actually have time. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe if you want to. I'm not gonna force you guys to do anything. And yeah, have a good day or night or afternoon, depending on when you're watching this.